a toast, and a chat about one of our favorite places, the library. Welcome to Coffee Chat, where once a month we drink good coffee and we chat about life, frugality, money, give you tips that make your life better.
Welcome to Under the Median. I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
First, let's start by revealing what are we drinking this month. We had a split decision in the household. Larry is drinking coffee. He'll tell you what in a second. I am drinking herbal tea. I'm drinking hibiscus tea. This tea comes from the bulk herb store, and I've ordered a lot of things from them. I like them a lot. I'll make sure that there's a link, guys, to bulk herb store in the description of the video. And Larry is drinking?
I'm drinking Seattle's Best, and this is their breakfast blend. It's a medium roast coffee. It's already pre-ground, so all I got to do is just put it in the coffee maker and run it through. It is good stuff.
Usually he drinks coffee from a local coffee roaster. We ran out of time. We did not have time to go and order something on the internet or get something locally. Guys, this amazing blend came from Kroger. BOGO, buy one, get one free. Seattle, oops, sorry, I dropped your coffee. Seattle's Best. Now you're going to be hearing lots of tips as we go through this video. So go ahead and grab a pen or a piece of paper so you can write down notes so that you can take those notes to your local library and ask your librarians about including some of these services that are offered at libraries, not only across the United States, but we did hear from some of our viewers overseas. We would love to hear from you in the comments section. What are your very favorite things that your library offers? Tell us about it and do it in the comments. Well, we raised our kids 2 blocks from a local public library branch, and we were there constantly. So we love all things library. But this video was inspired, I have to say, give credit where credit's due. A viewer wrote to me and said, hey, let me just tell you what I love about my library. And she told me everything she loved. And I went, you know what? I really do think this would be a fun coffee chat. So on the community tab, we put a question and said, tell us what you love about your library. And a lot of you are incredibly enthused about your library. We had over 150 people who gave shout outs to their local libraries. We have notes here. Madison was our viewer who wrote to me. She listed, and I thought this was really fun just to start out with this. We're going to start out with 3 online things that most public libraries offer. So check in with your library. Kanopy, Kanopy. It's an on-demand streaming video platform for public and academic libraries. They offer films, TV shows, educational videos, documentaries. We have used Kanopy. It works really well and it's very fun. Hoopla. Hoopla is free streaming and downloaded audiobooks, plus some movies and music and e-media. Now, it includes nearly any CD release that you could name. Plus, if you don't want to pay for Hallmark, I did not know this until Madison wrote and told me, they offer a 1-week binge pass. So you can stream all the latest Hallmark Plus offerings on your schedule. And additionally, they offer 1-week binge passes for magazines and even places like The Great Courses, which are educational series.
Madison mentioned one more service, and it's called Libby. Libby offers ebooks and audiobooks and current magazines. If a current title isn't available, you can place it on hold. It'll be notified when the title is available for you. Libby lets you bookmark ebooks and audiobooks so you can pick up where you left off later, which is so helpful if the borrowing period ended before you finished. You can check it out again and your bookmarks will be put right where you left them. How about that?
I did not know until Madison sent that you could bookmark books from Libby. And if your borrowing time runs out, when you borrow it again, the bookmark is right there where you left it. Did not know that. Couple of things I learned just by reading her great email. All right, what did others write in about what they love about their library? S. Stevens says, our library recently added a spice club. Each month is a different spice in a small Ziploc baggie with several recipes and information about the spice. It's inside a stapled together brown bag with a label on the front telling you what spice is inside.
Very nice.
How fun is that?
Wow. Donna Robertson writes, free senior tax filings at libraries during the tax season. That's very helpful.
A.L. Hood 3 says, I was a caretaker to my mom with Alzheimer's. My library had memory kits you could check out that were super cool. They had puzzles, games, and books I could do with her to enjoy interactions and discussions. There were 3 levels of memory care kits in terms of cognition, and they also included a caretaker support book for me to reference.
That's a very nice service. The Argos 12 says, our library has free family passes so you can check out to get admission to area museums and zoos and other things. How fun is that?
We have done that with our kids. I will say, check for like what the parameters are, because some of it is like if one, let's say we all have library cards in this family, right? So I could check out the museum pass, but it's per family. So like I couldn't check it out one week and then Larry checks it out the next week. And then each of our 4 kids checks it out the 4 weeks after that. You get the idea. So they do put a little bit of limitation on that, but it lets you go to the museum or the zoo on a different day than when they have free days where general admission is free. Brooklyn K says, our library offers kits on different subjects. Ours did too. This was so fun to check out as a homeschooler. They have math, STEM, gross motor skills, seasons, for example, for different age kids. They have a book, a game, or a puzzle inside to go with the theme of the kit. These were like mini, like unit studies that we checked out to help us homeschool our kids.
I'm thinking this next person does a lot of reading. Their name is Wrapped Up in Books.
I love it.
My library offers access to a program called Creative Bug Binge Pass, which has classes from arts and craft experts on everything from learning how to sew, crochet, quilt, and knit to drawing and all sorts of crafts.
Leanne says, our library has a puzzle table. You can come work on the current puzzle. Ours has that too. That was sort of interesting. I walked in the other day. I'm like, ooh, trying to put in 3, 4
And then they give
pieces
away
for it.
puzzles there too.
They do, right. So there's a free puzzle table.
It's an exchange program. Yeah.
Plus, they have a food and clothing pantry in the foyer. Anyone can drop off or take as needed. Love that. One of my favorite things, though, is you got to tell us in the comments if you've ever heard of this. I Googled this. And it's a thing. Like libraries across the United States do this particular thing during the Easter season. All right. Every Easter, they have a public Peeps diorama contest for adults and kids to create a diorama of a scene from their favorite book using Marshmallow Peeps candy and an old shoebox. They're all on display, and any library member can come and vote on their favorite. There were a bunch of them online.
How about that? Mrs. Dog Lover says, I took a Zoom class on Sunday morning on how to detect AI in text, video, and photos. Mm-hmm. There was actually a class at the library last night on how to start a YouTube channel, but I didn't attend.
All right. Well, we hope you'll find out what that class was about, because it is fun to do YouTube.
Oh, yes. Very fun.
But here's what that reminded me of. So their library is bringing in local experts that help prevent like fraud, especially when it comes to older people. You want to look. Usually every library has an online and sometimes a physical like flyer up at the front desk every month where they talk about their programs that they're offering that month. Ours is divided into like adults, and then they'll have high schoolers, middle-aged kids, early elementary, and then preschool kids. So it's divided nicely so you can see what age level that you're looking for, what kind of class. A lot of interactions from local businesses and experts, though, which is always super interesting to learn important information.
Yeah, because you're learning from an expert. An Average Muppet says, my local library does a Lego club once a week for the kids. And our kids all would have really enjoyed that because they're really into Legos.
Ariel says, I like the Pause to Read program, PAWS. You'll see why in a second. Children who are learning to read or need extra practice can read to therapy dogs out loud. The dogs listen with no judgment. It can help build confidence in a relaxing and quiet environment. Our kids all did this.
Yeah, I
They
remember
went
that.
and they read to dogs, which they absolutely loved. And we had some photos, and I could not find the photos, but it was a really fun program.
VC Mom of Three writes, in addition to all the usual items, our library system has 3D printing and a bookmobile that visits people who can't get to the library.
Kathy Phillips. In the little library in my town, we have a monthly group called Books and Banter. Now, this is not your average book club. No, no, no. We choose a theme for the next meeting that we want to meet to discuss. It can be a book, a movie, a podcast, whatever, as long as it pertains to the theme. I think that's kind of fun. And I guess the group members decide on the themes every single month.
Tamsin writes, we have a genealogy room that you can request use of. Another great feature is checking books out in person. On the slip, it says, you saved so-and-so much dollars by using your library. And it has the total of what the items, the books or the DVDs, or whatever you borrowed would have cost you to buy. How about that?
That is clever.
Yeah.
Genealogy room, our genealogy room, and she said hers was too. Tammin said that hers is a genealogy room. You have to make an appointment to go in, and there's a librarian there. Larry's family particularly has been in this area for generations and generations. And
Yeah.
I once took the kids to the downtown library and made an appointment with one of the genealogist specialists. And we went through and found newspaper articles from the early to mid 1800s of what would have been their great-great-grandmother and what the newspaper had to say about her. And so that was actually a really, really fun thing to do. Katrine says, at my library, we have the monthly hour of singing together. Everybody is invited free of charge. We sing 7 or 8 songs that are well known to all. This is a very common practice in my country of Denmark. I play the piano, 2 of my co-workers play the double bass and sing, and a local representative from a museum, school, or cultural institution is invited to be the host and select the songs. Typically, get this, guys, this is what got me about Katrine's comment. 80 to 120 people show up every month, and we have a lovely hour together. This is my favorite part of my job.
How fun. That just sounds like fun.
I'm like, you know, we have had library events where like it's been standing room only. That has happened. But that's a lot of people to get out for a sing-along once a month.
Actually, I hosted one where we filled up the entire room of one of the exhibit halls in the library. A 1965 film was found that talked about the history of our town. It was really awesome, and everybody really enjoyed it.
So to be clear, Larry had a projector that would run the 16
millimeter,
film.
yeah.
And so he took the actual projector, hooked up the actual film, played it
Yeah, we ran
onto a big screen. And not only did he fill the room twice, once he filled it twice. There was
Yeah,
standing room
that's right.
only and people wanting to get in. So they finally told everybody in the waiting room, we'll run this again in an hour. Go look at some books for 45 minutes while the movie runs. And then when Mr. Ware gets it all hooked up in the projector again, we'll have him run it over again. So we filled the room twice.
And that was free for anybody that wanted to come.
Jessica Bullock says, I'm a frugal homeschooling mother of 8. Good for you, Jessica. For those of you who don't follow us regularly, this is my 25th and final year of homeschooling. Our youngest is graduating in May, so I'm almost done with my homeschooling career. We love our local library. I totally resonate with that. We were there so
All
much.
the time. Yeah.
One of the great things my kids have taken part is the summer reading program. And that course is open to everybody, not just homeschoolers.
We did that as well.
In fact, it's open to adults too. We always signed
Yeah.
up as a whole family and we all read books because you would earn like prizes. Once you got to a certain level, you would earn prizes throughout the summer. And the final prize was always this big, final reading open house. One year they did it at our local zoo. You got free entrance. One year they did it at the museum, and that was free entrance. This was such a fun thing to do over the summer, and it really encouraged our kids to keep reading over the summer rather than let those skills lapse until school started again in fall.
My favorite prize came from McDonald's. They offered anyone who signed up
yeah.
for that program a free vanilla ice cream cone from McDonald's. That was awesome.
Sheila says, our local library had classes on knitting and crocheting. I do well at crocheting, but I was pretty bad at knitting. So I took the class. It was fun, but I still prefer crocheting. I love learning new skills like that. We've had several people that wrote in that said that they share skills with their local library or they've learned new skills from their library.
Cynthia comments, in the summer it's air conditioned. Our house isn't.
Amen, Cynthia.
The friendly staff sets out giant crosswords and other games from time to time. That's a great place to spend if you want to get out of the heat a little bit during the summer.
I will say our house, we do use our air conditioner, but we set it at like 79 degrees. So sometimes she's right. It's much cooler at the library than it is in our house. All right, moving along. Kimberly. It's a little bit long, so hang with me, guys, but I thought this idea was brilliant. All county libraries in our state partner with all state parks, historic sites, and partner attractions for free admissions to all of those venues. Okay, so the venues again were state parks, historic sites, and partner attractions. Now, these are things you would normally have to pay to get entrance into. Once I discovered this, the Hubs and I decided to start camping again. We like to pack a picnic lunch using the map of where the state parks are located. We check out the pass, and then we plan and visit 2 or 3 parks every other Saturday or so that may be in close proximity to each other or in like a circle. Now we do it to check out all the campgrounds. So they're able to drive around the campgrounds for free, check out the cleanliness, spots by the lakes, crowds, whether there's lots of water, ruts, trails, etc. They also, at the same time, but here's where the brilliant part is, they check out the state park passes. And at the same time, they check out the passes for the attractions that are in that area. Mm-hmm. So every other Saturday, they're parlaying the free state pass with the picnic lunch, with the attractions in that area. And they're doing all this for absolutely free. And then they make notes and they get home from the day trip. They put all the notes together, list the pros and cons, and then they reserve spots later in the summer for those state parks that they choose to revisit.
Nice. Rhonda writes, our library offers all types of classes, outdoor events such as hiking, snowshoeing, and foraging. That is a great thing to have.
Christina, I'm taking a how to grow vegetables in a container garden class on Thursday. Ooh, I hope that went well. My library has a maker space that contains 3D printers, picture scanners, and multiple sewing machines with all the free fabric you can possibly want.
Jed says, we have a comic con and a local writers fair to meet local authors.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Our kids are huge Comic Con fans. What do you think, guys? Are you a Comic Con fan, or are your kids or grandkids Comic Con fans? They dress up as favorite characters. And they go to these like festivals where they meet all these other people that like the same comic characters that they have. Melissa Becker says programs like orchestras, jazz music, and murder mystery events. Fun and free.
This next one says, our library has a basket of coupons. People clip the ones they don't want and leave in the basket. My son likes that they have a free book cart. Books that are donated, they can't use. So they go on a free cart. I would like that.
Yes, you
and
would.
I would donate so many coupons to that free coupon thing. Because I hate coupons. If you guys saw the video we did that we talked about it, you'll know what I mean.
All right. I think that video is already, if that video is already aired, because we do record in advance, I'll make sure I link that video where Larry waxes very eloquently about how I spent all these hours clipping coupons and how he really found it to be something that he wished I hadn't been doing. I'll link it, guys. It's a fun video. I'll link it up above. All right. Mosey says, our library raises butterflies to release so that the kids can see the entire butterfly cycle, from the egg to the grown butterfly to the release.
Stephen writes, they do a market on the lawn 1 day a week during the summer.
Fun.
I've taken free computer and camera classes. Mm-hmm. They have park and walking trails, a coloring table that everyone can continue to color the picture. I would really be interested in those camera classes. That would be absolutely fascinating. Those are great perks that their library offers.
Sarah, I run a toddler story and song time as a volunteer. Oh, we love that. Thank you, Sarah. We also do loads of summer activities for older kids. I ran a biscuit decorating workshop last summer for 5 to 10-year-olds.
User writes, our library has a 1,000 books before kindergarten program. For every 50 books read, the kids can pick out a book or prize. At the end of the year, they throw a party.
Lena, computer classes, job search classes. That's nice. Craft classes for kids and adults, book clubs, and yoga. Now stick with me. Remember that yoga thing, because Vested Unicorn says video game rentals for various platforms, plus yoga and critters. It's a partnership with the local humane society. Have you ever seen this? It's called like goat yoga. I've seen, yes, seriously. Like people do yoga, they pay to do yoga, and the goats are there with them while they're doing yoga.
Really?
And so I'm picturing it much like that. Only I imagine with it being a humane society, maybe there'd be some dogs there, some cats there, maybe some bunnies there. Doing your yoga with your animal friends beside you.
That would be very interesting.
I like it. I think it's a fun idea.
Lori writes, our library rents out Larry's favorite, the kilowatt meter. Yes, that is where we first got into the kilowatt meter. We borrowed one from our library and used it around the house. And I told Hope, this thing is so useful, I want to get one for us. So we did. It is very helpful.
All right. Borrow a kilowatt meter. If you want to buy one, I'll leave a link in the video description, guys.
And
check it out.
It's helpful at you helping to save money on utilities, because you'll know which of your appliances use the least amount of power, the ones that you want to really use the most.
See? Lori was right. It is his favorite thing.
I love it.
It truly is. Tina says, we enjoy a variety of classes they offer throughout the year for master gardeners and master beekeepers, because both she and her husband garden, and her husband is a beekeeper. They also have a murder mystery night for adults and arts and crafts we get to take part in. This is why I picked her comment. We make date nights out of these free events. We'll go grab a cheap dinner at a taco joint and then attend one of the adult events. It's fun. Almost free.
Well, that's very entertaining. I got to say,
I
that
like
is
that idea for
totally
a cheap
fun.
date night. We would do that.
Yeah. Tyler writes, Hope and Larry, I'm so glad you posted this. After watching your videos, I started utilizing our local library here in East Tennessee. I used it so much, I was asked to be on the library board. It's truly a wonderful place. How about that?
Tyler, thank you for serving on your library
Awesome.
board. And we love that we inspired you to check out your library. Susan Henry, access to many museums, zoos, botanical gardens, and local science museums. It's interactive for the kids. I put this comment in here because it gave you an idea of what sorts of local attractions to look for at your local library. If the passes are not obvious, where you can check out that sort of thing, ask your librarian if there are any state or local organizations or attractions that have partnered with the library to offer a certain number of free passes for library patrons.
And by the way, our library puts out a program on a paper and tells you each week what they're going to offer. They might have some special speakers that are going to come and talk about a particular subject, or they might have an event that your kids can take advantage of. And these are all written down so you can take them home, decide what you want to do, and put them on your calendar.
When our kids were young, if you have a lot of kids, just get different color highlighters. This is what we did. Each child had his own highlighter color. We would hand them the pamphlet and they would go through and mark with their highlighter color what events they were most interested in. Sometimes you would get one of those events where all of the kids were like, I'm like, well, for sure we're going to that one because all 4 of you have your highlighter color on there.
Yeah. Danny says, I recently taught a class at my local library and I had everyone make their own clay heart-shaped box. Oh. We have a lot of other great programs, a teen-specific area, and a seed library where people can take free seeds and bring some back when they harvest.
Another viewer said, my local library is located on a canal and has fishing poles and lures available for rent, a computer lab, genealogy groups, a Super Saturday movie, holiday parties, book sales. Listen to this. It's $2 per grocery bag. You can fill the bag with books, movies, puzzles, etc. Whatever you want to put in that bag. $2. That's a
Not
deal.
bad. Yeah. Mary says, my library systems offers free digital printing and has saved me a huge amount on paper, toner, and especially ink. Each person gets a $7 per week credit, and the cost is 10 cents for black and white and 50 cents for each color page. I upload the documents I want to print from my home computer to the library portal. It is secure and can be printed only by me using my library card. I got rid of my printer. My
What a
gosh.
thing to offer patrons.
Boy, that's unusual.
$7
That's-
credit per week.
That's really good.
And so when you use your credits, it's 10 cents for one black and white copy. That is absolutely incredible.
That's one of the best ones I've heard of on
I
this
know.
whole list.
The girl with the controller says, I love that my library lets me check out video games that would normally cost me about $60 each.
Candace White says, bird watching kits. I don't know if that comes with some binoculars or just
Yeah, I bet it does.
maybe a book that tells you what kind of birds to expect to see. But that's a very interesting thing if you're having a hobby of looking at birds.
And Michelle says the free Learn a Language Lab, where they teach you to speak a second language. Now, we mentioned when we started this video that Coffee Chat once a month is all about just sharing life and money-saving tips with you in a very fun and clearly a very informal format. If you'd like to watch a previous Coffee Chat where our viewers gave some of their favorite frugal tips that are going to help you to consistently spend less and save more, there's a previous Coffee Chat episode right over there. Give your tips that make your life better. Crap, I said it weird. I said it weird. I'm so sorry.
I married her.